Hi, this is Melanie Parker. I'm going to be talking to you about connecting schools through environmental literacy and specifically about how we use environmental clubs and the clubs within our county to connect with our students. So first, I just want to give a little bit of background in environmental literacy. When we talk about environmental literacy in our county, we're really talking about that connection, the human connection with the environment and how we impact that environment. And we want the students to have the skills and knowledge and also to have the motivation to really care for the environment. So in order to do that, we try to build it as part of the curriculum and a part of the experiences that they are having. So we want those experiences to be very hands-on, very relevant. We want to use the environment as a context for learning. And through all these different things, we hope to build that stewardship for the environment. So we kind of do that in various different contexts. To go back a little bit further, environmental education and environmental literacy has been part of Anne Arundel County for quite a long time. Arlington Echo itself is celebrating its 50 years. It looked a little bit different when it started, but then in 2011, the environmental literacy high school graduation requirement was passed as part of the requirements that students need to have before they graduate high school. And that language, just to kind of show you that, basically says that we want our students to have the knowledge, confidence, skills, and motivation to make decisions and take actions. That's going to help that relationship with the environment. And I think that's what is, a lot different with environmental literacy as compared to some of our other content areas like science or math, is that we're actually talking about behavior change, that motivation that they can, build the capacity to really, make it important for them to do these things and make the decisions that we would like them to make towards a more positive and healthy environment. So ultimately, what we want is our students to graduate with the knowledge, skills, and motivation to care for our natural world in a very simplified way. And we're going to do that in a variety of different ways. One of those ways, of course, is through the curriculum itself. And we have standards that we have to teach that are the environmental literacy standards. In that curriculum, you can see in the brochure that was included in your toolbox, that kind of outlines at each grade level a curriculum piece that is integrated into the different content areas and into the different grade levels. That also can be done through environmental clubs, and there are various different ones, and we'll talk about those in a second. The Green Schools is used a lot, and it really does make a difference in regard to creating a culture for the Maryland Green Schools and helping the environment. If you aren't familiar with that, that is basically a certification program that awards schools for doing sustainable practices and specifically having students engaged in sustainable practices at their schools. Right now we have 60 out of our 120 schools that are certified as a Maryland Green School, and we hope to continue to increase that. Another avenue is through our teachers themselves, and understand that most of our teachers do not have background in the environment, nor do they have skills for teaching outside of the regular classroom and using the outdoors for a classroom. Any of the pre-service stuff that they learn prior to becoming a teacher, it's not included. So a lot of what we're trying to do is giving them that skill and giving them the confidence to go outside and use the environment as a context. Part of that would be to work with facilities and the schools themselves to have outdoor classrooms so that they can utilize the outdoors in an easier and in a way in which they can have spaces that they could kind of be as a jump-off point to use the school grounds particularly. And then we talk about a little bit about projects on school grounds, like environmental projects. And those, of course, can include our rain gardens and rain barrels and those types of things. But it also extends to indoors as well, to try and motivate our students to have more sustainable practices on our school grounds. Projects on school grounds are great in that they help engage the students' involvement both in the planning side as well as the implementation side. The issue sometimes that happens with projects on school grounds like rain gardens and stuff is the maintenance part of that. So kind of talk a little bit about the clubs. So environmental clubs in Anne Arundel County are pretty they come under a number of different names. They might be an environmental club, they might be a green school club, they're an environmental science club, a STEM that has environmental components, or it could be like the Junior Watershed Stewards Club that's at Annapolis High School. Understand that the schools themselves do not specifically have an environmental club that's found at every single school. It really is the choice of the school and of the teachers that are leading that, leading it in order to run it. The clubs are sponsored and generally run by Anne Arundel County teachers, and depending on the interests of the schools, depends on the types of clubs that they have. So when we're talking about having you involved in helping the clubs, we want to make sure that we match you up with a school that has an existing club. Okay. A little bit about just kind of the general details about clubs is that they're either a before school or after school. Most of them are after school clubs. Elementary, middle, and high school all have different clubs. All of them range basically for 45 minutes to an hour, and generally once a week. They might be just for the beginning quarter or the beginning semester, or they might be for the full year. It all depends on the school and the teacher running the club. Teachers really are the primary driving force, and they determine what the agenda and everything else will be. When we start to connect you with schools, that's what we're going to have to kind of take a look at is, which schools are you interested in working with? Do they have an existing environmental club? We'll help to facilitate that teacher contact and talk to them about your involvement, and then connect you with the teacher so that you can start to work towards what it is you'll be doing with the clubs. And that will help to facilitate the involvement with the clubs. So that is about it. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me, and we look forward to continuing to work with you.